to the Silverthorne Pulse. I'm Kim Jardim with the town of Silverthorne, and I'm here today with Town Manager Ryan Highland. And we're going to chat about work session and town council for the evening of September 13th, 2023. Thanks for being here, Ryan.
Thanks for having me.
So let's jump right into work session. There was a draft strategic housing plan update last night.
Yeah, we've got a strategic housing plan that provides kind of the philosophy and policy guidance on where we go with our workforce housing in the community. And we got a grant from DOLA to update that. I think 2017 was the last time we'd updated that document, and that was really at the outset of starting Smith Ranch. Smith Ranch is almost complete on the Smith Ranch neighborhood, and so just tuning that document up, you know, kind of the broad brush policy concepts that, like I said, guide our housing, and it's land banking and building new product and buy downs, and so just conversations about updating that document. A little bit more work to do there, but giving council an overview of the draft.
Great. Excellent.
Yeah. And we do also have coming up on that same topic, the updated needs assessment that's been conducted countywide. I know there's been some conversation with the BOCC, and it's been in the newspaper, and we're bringing Root Policy Group, who worked on that assessment, into a future work session in October. So related to our strategic housing plan as well.
Fantastic. There was also a discussion with council about committee assignments. Our council members serve on various committees throughout the year, and so there was that discussion last night about taking on different assignments for council members.
Yeah, in addition to the work that they do at the actual council meetings and a lot of other things they do, we've got about 24 different opportunities. Some of the committees or boards are directly related to the town, so we've got our police advisory committee and our art board, and so council liaisons work with those groups, but then outside entities as well, Colorado Municipal League, Colorado Association of Ski Towns, and like I said, about 24 different opportunities for council members to be connected with those groups. So every once in a while we dust off the list and make sure that we've got all of those covered and that everybody's happy with what they're working on. So went through that process last night, and we've had a full council last night, so got everybody into the slots they were looking for.
We appreciate all of their work on that they're super helpful with high school scholarships, nonprofit grants, business grants, all of it.
Yeah.
Great. Excellent. So moving on, there was a recent meeting between the town and CDOT regarding the Exit 205 corridor study that's occurring. Yeah,
so CDOT has been working since, I guess, last fall on a corridor study, so Highway 69 and including the Exit 205 interchange, basically from Silverthorne Elementary all the way to the top of the hill in Dillon. And so an opportunity to check in with the leadership at CDOT in Denver the other day, and Silverthorne and Dillon are both involved in this. So myself and Nathan Johnson, town manager in Dillon, went down and just talked about the study's not complete yet. We're excited about getting those results. There'll be an opportunity for the public to learn about that study in the coming months, and then we were really asking CDOT, how do we move forward? Could we partner on seeking some federal funding? And so just some conversations there to be continued, but obviously the 6-9 corridor is, that's kind of the only game in town when we're talking about how we get around, and so critical that we partner with CDOT. And so the 205 interchange is obviously a big part of that conversation, looking at that diverging diamond model that they put out there a number of years ago and seeing if that's still the best solution. And then also different access points and signal timing, and they're looking at all of that. So
that's great. We look forward to those results.
Check in, and we'll certainly share with everybody when those public opportunities come up in the coming months.
Great. And we have a new county commissioner.
We do. And we're very excited to work with Nina Waters in Silverthorne. That's not a new name for Silverthorne. We've worked with Nina in a number of different ways when she was with the Silco Theater. When we were building the Performing Arts Center, got to work with her there. She is a member, speaking of our committee, she's a member of our art board and has been for a number of years. And so, yeah, we're excited to get to work with her in a different capacity, and congratulations to Nina.
Absolutely. Moving on to the town council meeting, there was a resolution awarding a contract for the town hall remodel.
Yeah, we had a number of items on our consent calendar. I'll just run through those, but town hall remodel, we are trying to maximize every bit of square footage that we have in the building and cutting some offices in half, turning some common areas into office or meeting space. And so remodeling is never fun, but we're gonna start doing some of that in the coming months. So a contract with A&P, who we've worked with on a number of projects. They're actually working on the rec center remodel, so they'll just come over a block and a half and start working on town hall. Again, speaking of the art board, just a resolution amending some of the bylaws there, keeping those all up to date. And then finally, we did have the final intergovernmental agreement. We had the kind of final numbers on the child care center and the partnership that we have with the county that made that possible. And that IGA document, Silverthorne's $1.2 million contribution financially on top of the land and some of the other things that we did. So had the ribbon cutting recently. They opened a few days ago, and we're very excited about that. So kind of the final piece of paperwork there.
Excellent.
So yeah, those were all on the consent calendar, and those were all approved.
Great. Moving on to public hearings, there was an ordinance amending liquor licensing, local liquor licensing, and that was regarding some changes at the state level, correct?
Yeah, some changes in definitions and really just, like you said, second reading, no changes from the first reading, and making sure that we're in line with state statute on all of our liquor licensing.
Great. And in action items, very exciting, the preliminary site plan for the Silverthorne Fire Station.
Yes, council was very excited to see this in front of them. This had been before the Planning Commission the week prior and was approved. And so, long time coming. Like I said, council was very excited that we are at this point for Silverthorne and the community at large to see the plans, the drawings of what the station will look like. So next step will be final site plan review, and then they'll start constructing in the spring. There was some conversation about the color of the doors at the fire station. I guess one of the adjacent neighborhoods felt that red was maybe a little bit too bright. I think council's perspective and the fire district as well is that fire stations have red doors. And so I think we'll end up with a fire station with red doors, if I had to guess. Maybe there was a comment about we have a building next door, our public works facility, and it has green doors, and things felt a little too Christmassy. So anyway, if those are our biggest challenges in getting a new fire station approved and built, then I think we're doing all right. So council, like I said, very happy to be there. They said they would hold their applause and cheering for final site plan, but I think they really will have some cheering and applause. So thank you to Summit Fire and EMS for getting this thing ready to go.
Excellent. Also under action items, there was an ordinance amending the Silverthorne Town Code to address municipal campaign contribution limits and reporting requirements. And was that related also to some changes at the state level?
Yeah, I think there have been some changes there, and then I think tweaking to have campaign regulations that make sense for Silverthorne that are maybe not quite as broad as the state as a whole. So kind of administrative paperwork, if you will.
Okay.
Campaign finance isn't a huge topic in local government elections.
Right. And also an ordinance to amend the short-term rental regulations.
Yeah, we've had a number of conversations in work sessions, and so this was implementation of the direction of council on a number of items related to short-term rentals. One being that we do have caps in place. We have not hit those caps yet, but when we do, Staff was proposing how we navigate through wait lists and just some of the administrative detail there. And some other administrative cleanup, but then additionally, council did have some conversation recently based upon some complaints that we had from community members about how you address complaints for short-term rentals. And so the nuance there now is if you have complaints that are resolved, but they keep recurring, 3 resolved complaints can turn into 1 formal complaint. And then if you have 3 formal complaints, then your license might be in jeopardy. So just a little a tweak there to try and provide some more tools for neighbors of short-term rentals that are maybe problematic. Most aren't. Most of them are great. Sure. But that was the change to short-term rentals. So that was first reading. That'll come back in a couple weeks for second reading.
Great. Well, I think that concludes what was a pretty quick meeting for September 13th.
6:45, not too bad.
All right. Well, thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time.